Hi everybody, Bob Icino from the PureXposure Growth Series and Path Trading Partners. Just want to do a follow-up video to the PureXposure live stream that we did on March 16th. Now that was our first follow-up show after we basically predicted that the coronavirus would be a black swan event. We did that in our February show. Both of those shows are now up on our YouTube channel. You can watch the replay if you choose to. But the March show is our first follow-up from that black swan show. And we had Amelia Bourdeaux on from Market Compass LLC. She's a global macro strategist, and she put on a couple of really good currency trades. But I asked her to do a follow-up video for one specific trade, the Aussie dollar trade that she talked about live on the show. Now remember, she did this live on the show. So I asked her to make a video and kind of recap what she was seeing and why this trade is working as well as it is at this point. So I want to give the screen to Amelia. Amelia, it's all yours.
Hi, I'm Amelia Bourdeaux from Market Compass LLC. I was on the PureXposure Growth Series on Monday, and that was a really exciting day to be on. Markets were on the move that morning because the night before, ahead of the Asia Open, that Sunday night, the Federal Reserve Board slashed the Fed funds rate and took a series of policy easing measures ahead of the Asia Open. So it was really exciting times in the market that morning. I spoke about an Aussie dollar trade. Aussie was trading heavy, and I like to be short Aussie dollar. So we mentioned and we looked at the June contract for Aussie dollar futures, that 6A June contract. And at the time, around 9:20 a.m., that's when I mentioned the trade on Monday, that 6A contract was trading about spot 60.90. And I thought we had room for it to move down. The reason why, I'll go over the reasoning for the trade, which I discussed Monday, was that the RBA had said on Thursday it was going to have a policy meeting, and most analysts thought the RBA was going to take a rate cut or policy easing measures on Thursday. So I wanted to get ahead of that RBA announcement, and so I was asked, is this something we wait for a bounce, or should we do it now? And I said, no, you should short Aussie dollar futures contract now. Keep it small because the volatility was high and scale into the position. And so Thursday in Australia, which was overnight, Eastern Standard Time in the US at least, the RBA did take a whole series of mega easing measures. And the Aussie dollar, this weight on the Aussie dollar, it fell even further. And on that 6A contract, we got down to a low of around spot 55.45 area. So a big decline, a big move down. In global macro forex trading, these are the kinds of directional moves that we look for. So ahead in the Aussie, it was interesting the RBA statement didn't mention the weakness in the currency. So that tells me that they don't mind the weakness in the currency. I would be short Aussie again if we get a bounce. I would like to short the bounce. Ahead, Aussie dollar is going to have continued problems as data come out from China, which are likely to be extraordinarily weak, and that's going to ruin sentiment kind of for the Aussie economy. We talked more about that on Monday. I hope you were able to get into this trade. Thanks for having me on the PureXposure Growth Series, and thanks for listening to my trade. You know, just speaking from my global macro background on Wall Street, these are really challenging and unprecedented times. And obviously, as I mentioned, they do present a lot of challenges, but in global macro and these high vol environments, we try to look for the opportunities. And on Monday, as I discussed with you, I saw Aussie dollar, that future, as a clear trading opportunity. So there are things out there to look at. So keep at it, traders.
Thank you for that, Amelia. Again, Market Compass LLC. You guys should reach out to her if you're looking for some really good global macro stuff. She is a really, really good market analyst. Why we had her on the show, and we hope to have her back soon. We've got another show coming up April 13th. That'll be PureXposure Growth Series. I think it's number 4. I don't know. They're starting to pile up now, but we'll have another bunch of live streaming guests, really good guests as always. Jimmy Iorio is committed to being on that show. Kamal Shri Kumar, who's one of the best interest rate guys I've ever seen, is going to be on that show, and some other guests that we'll talk about as we get closer to the show. So make sure you're signed up to hear updates on that. Hopefully, there's not some massive quarantine. I know there's a lot of rumors going that the U.S. is going to be completely locked down. Hasn't happened yet as I'm making this video. Hopefully, if that happens, it won't be a quarantine at the time we're trying to film that show live. If it is, I mean, I guess I'll do it from here. So make sure you sign up. Show must go on. The last show went on. There was some rebounding in the stock market today. It's Thursday night at about 6 p.m. Central Time right now. And there was a good rebound today. Crude oil had its biggest up day ever. But looking at crude oil specifically, it was the biggest up day ever after the biggest down day ever, and the biggest up day ever didn't come close to matching the biggest down day ever. We are still in sell-off mode. Okay, there's some very important bear market statistics you guys need to see. I'll talk about that more in the next video. But again, sign up for more updates. I want to thank Amelia and all the other guests as well for the last show. April 13th is the next show. I will talk to you guys in the next video.